Good day, everybody. Welcome back to the gaming tier on Patreon, where we discuss all things news in this wonderful gaming industry of ours. So I have a couple of things to cover. The first thing is going to be something fun and exciting, which is Destiny 2. As many of you know, I play a ton of this game. I have been going through the Guardian games, and if you're ever in my stream, !Nick, go take a look. Make him proud before the end of Guardian games at that link. It's going to be wonderful and exciting. But we got a new trailer for the new season, which comes out on Tuesday, so make sure you finish any of the triumphs that expire at the end of Season 15. Don't forget to dismantle all of your shaders, because the shaders that you have unlocked on your account are now going to be available no matter what, which means you don't need a stockpile of them. And if you dismantle them now, you'll get a whole bunch of legendary shards and other things to potentially go with it as well. So make sure you do all of that before Tuesday. Now, the new season is also coming out, and the gilded titles are going to be ended, if you will. So you're going to have to rework at getting the gilded title for the various things if you had them before. And I now have the Dredgen title, so I'm excited, and that means next season I am going to be working my butt off to get gilded Dredgen. It's going to be a great time. Now, with the news from this week at Bungie that we received, which you can check out on bungie.net, we got to see the video, we got to see cool new artwork, things that are coming down the pipeline for the new season, like new weapons, changes to classes, the introduction to Vault of Glass coming into Destiny 2, and a whole bunch of other cool story stuff. And one of those things had the whole community up in arms, just losing their minds over the coolest thing ever, which is fallen babies. They look like mini grenades, and they are super cute, and I am so excited for this specific thing because look at them. Like, they're adorable. They make me happy. And I'll want them. They're hilarious. So this has spawned a whole ton of art that people have done on Twitter. And one of them I came across because of that is hilarious. Because of the TWAB, we got to see some amazing artwork that they featured, and I swear to God, the next few weeks is just going to be artwork of Little Ixnay, which is what I'm calling them because I think it's brilliant. But my favorite, of course, is from the TWAB, and that is this. The detail in this picture is phenomenal, and I love it. Like, the detail on the shank that he's got here, like, just the detail of Mithrax, like, this is all just fantastic. And I also love that this is done, like, in pencil, so it's all very black and white, and I do really love a good black and white picture as well, and oh, this is just beautiful. So Chris Gill is the guy at Taste of Zen. He does have an Etsy store where you can buy prints if you so desire. I'm gonna probably buy one of the prints of this just because it's so amazing that I just want it. So I had to rave about this amazing thing and share it with you guys because it's something good before the interesting stuff for the rest of the week that we've had going on. So the first thing that I want to talk about is, some sad news It's people have left a well-known company, and they're on to greater things, and today is their last day. But Alex, Brad, and Vinny are leaving Giant Bomb, and they are done as of today. And there is a special stream to mark the occasion. I don't know when that's going live, if that's today, if I'm behind the times, and maybe that was, earlier in the week. But Giant Bomb was established by former members of GameSpot and alongside Jeff Gerstmann, who will remain at the site, and Ryan Davis, Brad, and Vinny were founding members of the website. Alex, who worked alongside the others at GameSpot, joined sometime later, having initially founded Screened, a website dedicated to movies and TV. And there is a giant outpouring from Twitter about them leaving the company. But in his statement, Giant Bomb founder Gerstmann said, "I've spent a lot of last year thinking about what's next for Giant Bomb, and most of those roads lead to a full-on rethink of what it means to be a website about video games in 2021. While I certainly would have loved to solve these challenges with my longtime friends and coworkers by my side, it just wasn't meant to be. I wish Vinny, Alex, and Brad the best. Meanwhile, we have a pretty exciting opportunity to broaden our horizons, rethink every facet of our operation, and get to a place where we're truly able to build that bomb all over again, or die trying." Speaking to the future of the site, the Giant Bomb team as a whole said there is a collective vision for what the future of Giant Bomb is, and it involves both familiar and new faces. We're already in talks with creators so that we can begin the next chapter. We're fully aware that this marks a big change, and we're using this as an opportunity to rethink what this site is. It's a chance to introduce new personalities from different backgrounds and explore categories and topics that we never have before. Obviously, this sent a ripple through the industry. Giant Bomb and the team have been such a driving force in gaming that it is felt by so many people, and we'll just have to see where Giant Bomb goes from here. But it does speak to the fact that all types of companies during this pandemic have had a shift in mentality, in terms of like what kinds of content they want to provide and how they're going to reach the audience, since so many more people are online and sharing opinions and thoughts and reviews and content creation, that it is more difficult in certain aspects to be part of a gaming news site. And I know this because I am also doing press releases and such for another gaming news site. And it can be difficult to find your way in a world where the big dogs, are on Metacritic and are quote unquote more trusted, and the smaller sites struggle with making sure that they can pay their staff. But people just are so connected and so on the ball now that it's very difficult to carve your way into the space and provide something that is unique and different and whatnot. And I am just giving you guys the news. So if you're not following the gaming industry in other places, then I hope that this is where you can get that information. But otherwise, I am hoping to help those of you that don't actively check Twitter all the time. I'm curious to see what happens to Giant Bomb and where they go, and I hope that they, continue to light the world on fire with their awesome content and whatnot. And, Alex, Brad, and Vinny will certainly be missed, but I hope that they move on to something greater and, are happy with the work that they have done and the friendships that they've created over several years of working in the video gaming industry. So we'll just have to see. The next thing I'd like to discuss is something that I think many of you will be excited about. A couple weeks back, I had talked about Discord and the possibility of Microsoft buying Discord, and that the point in which Microsoft becomes interested in a deal with a company, they usually get their way. But in this case, we discovered, one, that Microsoft was not going to be buying Discord, so we don't have to abandon ship yet. But I'm very curious to see why this is the end result of that partnership. Discord has needed to find a way to make money in order to keep the servers and the quality that they have had to this point, because as we know, nothing is free, nothing is easy, and it was inevitable that they were going to have to partner up with someone. And I came across the announcement that they have partnered with PlayStation. And this is, in my opinion, somewhat good, because that means that there's going to be connectivity between PlayStation users and Discord, being able to do different things in the gaming sphere and whatnot. And, Sony does make a good amount of money that they're able to support and help Discord in some way. I'm just not sure that this was the right choice necessarily, because of how Sony does not seem to play nice with others, where Xbox has made leaps and bounds and made partnerships and bought out a whole bunch of stuff. They've got Game Pass, they've got so many things going for them that they really want to connect gamers and make sure that if you're on PC or you're on Xbox, that you can do stuff together. And Sony just does not seem to want to do the same kinds of things. And so I'm kind of interested to see why they decided to do this. But from this official statement, at PlayStation, we're constantly looking for new ways to enable players around the world to connect with one another, form new friendships and communities, and share fun experiences and lasting memories. It's in this spirit that we're excited to announce a new partnership with Discord, the communication service popularized by gamers and used by more than 140 million people every month around the world. Together, our teams are already hard at work connecting Discord with your social and gaming experience on PlayStation Network. Our goal is to bring the Discord and PlayStation experiences closer together on console and mobile starting early next year, allowing friends, groups, and communities to hang out, have fun, and communicate more easily while playing games together. To bring these experiences to life for our players, Sony Interactive Entertainment has made a minority investment as a part of Discord's Series H round. From our very first conversation with co-founders Jason Citron and Stan Wisniewski, I was inspired by their lifelong love for gaming and our team's shared passion to help bring friends and communities together in new ways. Empowering players to create communities and enjoy shared gaming experiences is at the heart of what we do, so we are beyond excited to start this journey with one of the world's most popular communication services. It is always a privilege to work with great partners to bring fresh experiences to our fans, and we'll have more to share in the coming months, so stay tuned to our channels and Discord for all the latest updates. As I said, I am happy that it wasn't Microsoft that got the deal, and I am happy that it's PlayStation that decided to invest in Discord and to help, the gaming community, and that shows they're trying to step forward. But they also have to, be unique and not necessarily do the same things that Xbox is doing. So I feel like this can be an extremely good thing. I'm just not sure, where they're going to take it, what's going to happen from this point. So we're going to have to keep an eye on this particular news story because I'm genuinely curious as a person who is more of a PlayStation fan than an Xbox fan. I give credit where credit is due. Xbox has done some amazing things and I am super happy for them. And they have a lot of really enticing titles. And the ability to play on PC with Xbox players is very attractive to me because then I have the opportunity to play games that I wouldn't otherwise have access to. And with PlayStation, what I like about PlayStation is obviously Gran Turismo and some of the exclusive titles that it has there, but we've got to a point where the console generation is just struggling more and more overall in terms of their individual tech and being able to connect with PC players is not a bad thing. I would love to have Gran Turismo available on PC somehow, even if that means doing sort of like a Xbox Game Pass where you could download exclusive titles, onto your PC and still play them as long as you have like a PlayStation account or something like that. And that would be awesome. I've been wanting Gran Turismo on PC for a very long time because in my opinion, most of the racing simulation games that are on PC are not at the same level as Gran Turismo. And that is the primary reason that I stick with PlayStation, is just for that awesome car driving experience. But again, that's just me. So the next quick thing is NBC is bringing some Olympics game coverage to Twitch. So as we know, because of the pandemic, the Olympics were pushed back and we did not get to see the Tokyo Games at all. And because we are in a situation where everybody lives online and that more and more people have come to Twitch, it seemed like a very good idea to stream the Olympic Games directly to Twitch. So, despite what you think about Twitch and its practices and whatnot, I actually see this as a good thing because the Olympics have needed to keep engaged with the community. The Olympics are often one of the most watched thing on television for the longest time, and it was inevitable that they were going to have to find a way to connect more with people who live on their computers and consume media that way as opposed to on television. The only thing that sort of angers me about this is the Olympics have repeatedly pushed esports and the idea of like video gaming competition out of the Olympics, saying that it's not really considered a sport. If esports were allowed to be part of the Olympics, it would be a good thing, not because we need the extra money and the extra eyes on esports, but what it would do is bring regulation so that young players who get into professional esports don't get screwed over because they signed a contract that they didn't understand or get a legal professional to look at. And unfortunately, there is no sort of gaming union or specific things to protect the individual players from getting screwed over by malicious people in the gaming space, which happens more often than you guys probably think. And so to me, it's good that the Olympics are going to be streamed on Twitch, but I also see it like a kick in the teeth. Like, you didn't want to include esports in any kind of capacity or set up a separate Olympics specifically for esports, but you want to have access to all of the gamers that you basically shunned, years ago because the governing body of the Olympics decided that no, this is not considered a sport and it doesn't require the same type of skill and strength that is required to participate in the Olympics. So I don't know. If you're interested in the Olympics, it will be streamed on Twitch. And I'm curious to see sort of what happens and if, if they decide to change their minds about esports in general. So we'll see. So the final thing I want to cover is something that is, again, both good, and I have some thoughts about it because of things that I have seen. So what I'm talking about is introducing the tip jar for Twitter. So we see you sharing your PayPal link after your tweet goes viral, adding your cash tag to your profile so people can support your work, dropping your Venmo handle on your birthday, or if you just need some extra help. You drive the conversation on Twitter, and we want to make it easier for you to support each other beyond follows, retweets, and likes. Today, we're introducing Tip Jar, a new way for people to send and receive tips. You'll know an account's tip jar is enabled if you see a tip jar icon next to the follow button on their profile. Tap the icon and you'll see a list of payment services or platforms that the account has enabled. Select whichever payment service or platform you prefer, and you'll be taken off Twitter to the selected app where you can show your support in the amount you choose. The services you can add today include Bandcamp, Cash App, Patreon, PayPal, and Venmo. Twitter takes no cut. On Android, tips can also be sent within Spaces. Tip Jar is an easy way to support the incredible voices that make up the conversation on Twitter. This is a first step in our work to create new ways for people to receive and show support on Twitter with money. Starting today, everyone using Twitter in English can send tips to applicable amounts on Twitter for iOS and Android. For now, a limited group of people around the world who use Twitter in English can add Tip Jar to their profile and access tips. This group includes creators, journalists, experts, and nonprofits. Soon, more people will be able to add Tip Jar to their profile and will expand to more languages. Now, this is good and also concerning at the same time. They are looking to help creators get out there. Like, I know that on my Twitter, I do have links to my webpage, to my Patreon, to my PayPal, to my Twitch, so that people who want to support me can find me in all of these different places. That is a pinned tweet on my profile. But there are two things that concern me. When I first came across this information, I was confused and concerned about the fact that Twitter takes no cut. Well, you may not take a cut now, but I have a feeling that in order to stay relevant and to continue to support your social media space, that you're going to need to make money somehow. And I am not familiar with their stories or whatever it is that they've implemented that is similar to Instagram. So I don't know exactly how Twitter is profitable, on their end. So I feel like they're rolling this out now. They're going to get people interested in the system. They're going to get people signed up for a tip jar and whatnot. And then down the road, it's going to be we need to keep up services to be able to do this and whatnot. So we are now going to take a small cut from everything, which means that the cut will be taken not only off of your PayPal or Patreon or your Venmo, but then there will also be a cut, from Twitter if they instate that down the road. And so I'm not sure why they're doing it that way to give people maybe that false sense of security, but we'll just have to see if they change their mind in the future, because I feel like they probably will. But the second thing that concerns me is the fact that there is a massive flaw with it. Okay. So, Rachel Tobeck tweeted, huge heads up on PayPal Twitter tip jar. If you send a person a tip using PayPal, when the receiver opens up the receipt from the tip you sent, they get your address. We just tested to confirm by tipping Yashar on Twitter with PayPal, and he did in fact get my address that I tipped him. So I assume this is a person that she knows personally to test this. If it's going to show your address, you probably want to send it to someone who already knows your address. Anyways, she goes on. Above, you can see the receipt Yashar sent me when I did this test with him. Be careful using PayPal Twitter tip jar. This is a hallmark of PayPal rather than Twitter, of course, but it impacts Twitter users who may not know that their address is leaked by PayPal to tip receivers. This is exactly what I was concerned to test when Twitter announced tip jar. PayPal needs to make it crystal clear which data is given to money receivers and stop sharing that data, and Twitter needs to educate users who don't realize what info tip receivers get when using PayPal. This gained a response. Obviously, a lot of people shared that, and a lot of people would be concerned for obvious reasons. You don't want to dox yourself by like saying to people, hey, support me in my content creation, to then suddenly have your address leaked to harmful people who will swat you, who will dox you, who will do all kinds of things. There are some really awful stalkers out there and some really awful things that I've heard that of fans showing up to people's houses. Like, none of that is good. You do not want that, and it's obviously a flaw. So Twitter support tweeted, now you can do more to support the many amazing voices who add to the conversation on Twitter. Send them tips. And then we're updating our tip prompt and help center to make it clearer that other apps may share info between people sending and receiving tips per their terms. Now, that is a massive flaw in my opinion. And I really do think that PayPal and Twitter need to fix that yesterday, like 100 years ago, because I am not going to put a tip jar on my Twitter if you're going to risk putting my address and information out there. And if PayPal continues to do that, I will find some other way to make money through Patreon or something, or deposit directly to, my account, or some way that I will not risk having my information shared to the greater world, because I don't want to be doxxed or anything like that. So, PayPal did address the security issues using the tip jar. I did take a look at PayPal when I saw the tweet, and I could not find a way to see what information is shared with people who send you any kind of money and tips and donations and stuff. But Engadget posted, Twitter product lead Kayvon Beckpour said the company would update the feature to add warnings notifying users that tipping via PayPal also shares the address associated with the account, after some users notice that PayPal shares the information as part of its payment. However, a spokesperson from PayPal said that addresses are only shared if payments are sent under the goods and services category, and that selecting friends and family keeps users' addresses hidden. This is the standard functionality of the PayPal app, and we will work with Twitter closely to ensure user awareness. So I will probably look to something other than PayPal to connect if I were to do such a thing, but as it stands, I am not going to risk having my personal information being leaked. And also consider that what users of PayPal really need to do is set up like a separate business account that is connected to a PO box or something like that, that is separate from your home address, so that people do not gain access to your direct location. So just keep in mind that while new features are being added to platforms all the time, that there is still significant risk that you need to think about before you sign on to new platforms and whatnot. There's a reason why I don't use things like TikTok, because I know that people have discovered all kinds of information and your privacy goes right out the window when you use applications like that, and I am not willing to risk that. So that's just me. That's just my opinion and my thoughts. I hope that you guys have enjoyed this video. And next week we'll have more exciting things, and maybe we'll have some more updates on some of the stories we covered today. But in the meantime, you guys have a fantastic day, and I will see you in the next video.